million Americans aged 60 and older owe more than $86 billion in unpaid student loans. Now, to pay that debt off, they're being forced to use their Social Security benefits, as reported by CBS. Sixth, considering the interest on such loans, the chances someone with that amount of debt will ever be able to pay it off completely are really small. 7. An estimate released by Brookings Institution indicates that 40% of borrowers are likely to default on their student loans by 2023. However, student loan debt is non-dischargeable in bankruptcy. 9. An average of 15% of student loans are in default at any given time, and at least 9 million borrowers enter default each year. But defaulting on student loans can have serious long-term consequences, which in some cases can be irreparable. When you enter into default, the entire outstanding balance of your student loan comes due. This lump sum continues to collect interest and late fees. If you default on a federal student loan, you can also lose eligibility for few. On top of that, your credit score dramatically declines. Your income also gets compromised, considering that lenders can arrange to have your employer withhold a portion of each paycheck to be paid directly to the lender. And if you fail to repay a loan, one of the effects of carrying student loan debt is that millions of borrowers are left with no financial cushion if they get hit by an unexpected expense. A recent Nitro survey found that 41% of people with student loans would not be able to afford an emergency bill of $400.
All right, Shalom, brothers and sisters. In this room, brother Moa Torah, coming to you again with another lesson, Lord willing. This will be edifying to those of you who are tuning in. And before we get started, I'd like to give all glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the teachers, elders, and apostle of Great Millstones. And also to you brothers out there that are putting on the truth faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep. And also to you brothers and sisters that are tuning in, Shalom. And as you saw that opening clip there with the Jakes, them celebrating their graduation from these institutions here in Great Babylon, America, which has basically brainwashed our people into believing that there is some type of future here once you get that piece of paper. But there's a proven fact throughout the decades that is not the case. Okay, as you can see in parts of the clips there, where I added some of the clippings that came from Fall Magazine and other various institutional magazines that prove that a so-called black man will have the same chance of getting the job that a high school dropout Edomite would get. Okay, this is the book of Isaiah 30 and 12, and it says, "Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise his word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant." Now, most of us, brothers, we've all graduated from high school, okay? Many of us went to college, okay? And why? Okay, if those of you who are old enough, you probably remember this TV commercial that used to come on. It always had James Earl Jones in the end saying, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste, donate to the Negro College Fund." Now, Esau would always put this type of stigma in our head that the college degree was our way out of getting out of the ghetto and a way of getting out of the oppression or the depression and the state that we lived in. But that's not really the case. If you go into the book of Deuteronomy 28 and verse 29, it says, "And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee." Okay, this is part of the curse that we have. Okay, even the best of us, there's only so far that we are going to get here in Great Babylon. And why is that the case? Because we are in spiritual Sodom and Egypt. And what is Egypt? Egypt was where the Hebrew Israelites, okay, Yasharah, the tribe of Israel, where we first went into slavery, okay? And now this is we are back in Egypt again, where we are going to be delivered out of slavery. Okay, but in the meantime, we are living those curses. Now, some of us are going to be a little bit better off than others out there. Okay, some of us have a roof over our head, some food to eat. We're not being shot at. Okay, we're not sitting inside some prison cell. Okay, and this is not to brag there, because we already know Esau is going to make his move, against the holy ones of Israel. He's going to make his move against the prophets, elders, teachers, and likewise brothers who are teaching this truth and who are following, the commandments of Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, to the best of their ability, and keeping this truth. Okay, so we know that that's going to happen. The great tribulation that's going to be coming to Jacob. Okay, Yasharallah, the tribe of Israel. That's going to be happening real soon. Now, those things that's going to be coming towards us is already manifesting itself, because the thing that you see here is this: is how people want to continue. Okay, the 2/3, and even those that actually know that they're Hebrew Israelites, okay, still want to believe that this piece of paper is going to get them, or is going to be the great equalizer here, because it is something tangible that they can see in front of them. Okay, you have these guys, us, standing up with a cape on, as they like to affectionately call it. Okay, talking about this great tribulation that's going to come, talking about these flying saucers that's going to come and beam up, to hopefully lack. Okay, talk about the fact that we are kings. But when people look around, what they're looking at is, hey, where's my minimum wage job, or where's my $15 or $20 an hour job? This is what Jake is striving for. Because why? Jake wants to do what? Wants to trust his enemy. This is Ecclesiastes 12:10. It says, never trust thy enemy, for like us and iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Now, when you look at that video, what did you see? It says you can't use bankruptcy to get out of debt. Okay, so you can go to college, okay, mass a great amount of debt, come out, and you would have the same opportunities available to you, okay, which is low paying jobs, as if you had never actually gone to school. And to smack the so-called Negro, Native American, and Latinos in the face, especially the men, okay, if you compete against a high school dropout, a drug addict with a felony or multiple felony, Edomite, a so-called white man, okay, he will likely actually be hired over you. And that has been proven. I've put out videos about that. Okay, you have to be 6 times smarter than the so-called white man to get paid 75% of what his base pay is. And that is a fact. And any of you brothers out there who are actually out in the world, okay, in so-called corporate America, or in these type of professional jobs out there, you know that that's the fact. You literally have to convince them at a table, okay, a panel of interviewers, that you're not some talking monkey. That's really what they see you as. Okay, yes, so they want you to engage into the society, with their LGBTQ, coalition act, okay, all of the wickedness and stuff like that. But then you don't really get to live the way these people live. See, because they just want you to come and be whole hand and join them, because deep down they know exactly what they have done to us. Okay, and they want to keep us calm down, because if our people really wake up to who they really are, you will be in a, all right, I'm pissed. You will be in a constant piss off state. If you wake to this doggone truth, because you will now know you've been played. And this was the biggest play that Esau has done to all of us. And what you wind up with is doggone dap, another damn thing to show for it. And this is millions. And this is what's going to create that tribulation for Jacob. Because a lot of our people right now are in debt, chasing that doggone hoopla college dream, okay? Because the mind is a terrible thing to waste, okay? And now cannot pay. The man just put on there, people can't afford a $400 emergency, okay? But here's Jake's right here, dancing and celebrating, okay? I got my college degree, especially the females, Eve, they're real proud. I'm a proud, educated black woman. But you can't take it out of bankruptcy, okay? They'll mess up your credit. Without a credit, you can't get into you can't rent, you can't buy a vehicle. Jake don't have no damn money. Where does Jake have money to actually go and get? Take a look at this. Look at that. Huh? Where does Jake have the money to go and buy anything with cash? Jake doesn't. Because Jake's job does not pay enough to actually build type of equity or type of savings. That's the reason why you've seen when he's talking about the baby boomers who are now having, and the millennials who now have to dig into their 401k or their retirement plan to go pay off their bills. Guess what? That's talking about Jake. Because you never had enough equity put aside. So that's the reason why we're told never to trust our enemies. Our enemies speak really sweet. Okay? This is the book of 2nd Ezra 16 and 19. It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish. I send a scourges for amendment. Okay, what is anguish? No matter how hard you try, you can't get ahead. Why? Because we have forgotten that Deuteronomy 28, verse 29 tell us that we would be, okay, in this position. No matter what we do, we will never prosper. Okay? What is that famine that's going to be coming? Okay? Hey, if you get this bill to pay that you cannot actually get yourself out of, okay, you can't buy food. But food is expensive now. You know, the cost of gas, okay, is overwhelming you to where you can't even afford to even buy food. And sooner or later, especially Jakes who on those on the subsidy system, okay, it's not going to be available to you. Anguish, constant anguish, okay, and those are sent as an amendment, okay, to us, Yasharala, because why? We have sinned, we have turned against our power, okay, and this is part of the curses that we are going through. But a lot of our people, while hopefully elect is mindful, while we are repenting, while we are trying to appease our power to spare us from going through this terrible judgment that's going to be coming, this tribulation that's going to be coming on us, okay, as a final judgment against us. The rest of these fools are out there dancing and jumping up around, even in 2022. Some of them even bow down to the doggone mandate, okay, and get the Bill Gates juice in their body just so that they can go and get a piece of doggone paper that's absolutely doggone worthless, that's not going to do any damn good, because they don't want to pray for this place to be destroyed. This is the book of Proverbs 29 and 2, and it says, when the righteous are in authority, and the righteous are not in authority, the wicked are, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear it rule, the people mourn, and that is what's going on right now. There's a whole lot of mourning. Okay, now I'm only concerned about the tribe of Israel, and in particular the hopefully elect, because I know even in this hopefully elect, okay, some of us were caught off guard and caught into this. Okay, now we got our 2/3 and a lot of our people in the same situation right here. Believe it or not, a lot of these people actually have degrees in education. Usually stand here, but what has it prospered them? They at one time was doing this, okay, because they trusted in the doggone devil and they never left out of it. Right? They never see the spiritual power of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. So I'm going to close out and give all glory and honor to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honor to teachers, elders, and apostles of Great Millstone. Also to you brothers that did put the truth faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep. And you brothers and sisters that are tuning in. Shalom. Okay? Don't be fooled.